Hello, Where Brains Meet Beauty fans. Thanks for tuning back in to our show. Welcome to our fifth season of Where Brains Meet Beauty podcast. And I'm so excited. This is our 210th episode. And as these numbers get bigger, it's like even more delightful to say. So, number 210. And at the start of this season in January, we announced a new format for our show. So, thank you so much for finding us here on YouTube Live. This is where you get to listen and watch the show get made behind the scenes. And we also have a lot of exclusive content on the YouTube Live that you won't be able to get on your classic podcasting app. But if that's your preference, and maybe listening is all you want to do and you don't want to watch, that's fine too. This episode will go live on your favorite podcast app in a few weeks. So in the meantime, we have 209 episodes that you can listen to on the podcasting app. So please pick an archived episode. The content is totally evergreen. It never goes out of style. The wisdom is enough to last a lifetime. So please check out those other episodes. But now I'm excited to introduce you to our fourth guest of our sustainability themed quarter. She's been behind marketing many of your favorite brands with lots of celebrity names. So we're going to have a lot of fun here. Please welcome Rebecca Boston. She's a Chief Marketing Officer of True Botanicals.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Rebecca, welcome to Where Brains Meet Beauty. I'm so excited to meet you.
Oh my goodness, the pleasure's all mine. I love your show and you're an incredible host. I'm excited to be talking to you today.
Well, we're super matchy. My fuchsia lip and your fuchsia blazer. So that makes
We
it
love
fun.
some
And then my
color.
fuchsia microphone. I don't know if you can see that
I
clearly.
know. I was just thinking I need to get myself one of those because that matches perfectly.
So, Rebecca, what I love to do on this show, because we talk about career journey and that's our focus, is to really go back in time. If you can think about your 11-year-old self, what do you want to be when you grow up?
Oh, my 11-year-old self very specifically wanted to be a Mary Kay lady. I was going to drive the pink car, have all the pink compacts, and help all my friends and family look like their best selves. So I had an interest in beauty from a really young age. I got to see my mom was always really into beauty, and we spent a lot of time at beauty salons, and I would watch when women walked in how they carried themselves, and then by the time they left, how they pull their shoulders back and lift their heads up, and they just looked so much happier and more confident. And I wanted to be a part of that and kind of help women feel like the best version of themselves from there on out.
That's such an insightful observation as such a young kid. Why Mary Kay? How did you hear about that business?
It was so my mom used it. And then when I was 14, I was begging to be able to use makeup. So my mom like brought over a Mary Kay lady. This is back in the day. And they gave me like a full routine. And it was like, I kid you not, like one of my core memories from my teenage years. And so it was always just kind of a passion of mine. And that was just, my mom was like, if you're going to do it, like, let's pull back a little bit on the glitter and let's get you some like decent stuff.
Um, that's so incredible. And these imprints, these early imprints are, how could you have even known this could have been a career for you? I mean, you probably didn't, other than being a Mary Kay person or working in a salon. I would imagine you didn't know what a career in beauty could be.
I didn't, yeah. And so while I kind of had that dream, I didn't end up initially pursuing it when I graduated from high school and went to school because I was like, maybe I'll kind of like go back to that after I go to school and do something else. So I actually went to school and studied public affairs because then as I got a little older, I decided I wanted to take my pass at politics.
So you went to college to be in politics, and did you get a
Mhm.
first job in politics?
I did. I had a couple. I worked on a show at Univision called Voz y Voto. And it's a show that runs in California, all about kind of local politics in our state. And then I went on and I worked at a bipartisan public affairs firm. And while I was there, I was a little bit disillusioned because I went in wanting to immediately change the world and make it a better place and have a positive impact. And politics was just a lot more it was slow moving, and it's politics. I didn't have the ability to impact the immediate change that I was hoping. But while I was there, interestingly, I was organizing a lot of rallies. And this was back in the days of before Facebook, there was MySpace. And before MySpace, there was Friendster. And I found that on Friendster, there was these like self-organized groups of like Democrats in Bakersfield and Republicans in Sacramento. And I would go into those groups and invite people to come and participate in our rallies. And Edelman, the world's largest PR firm, actually saw me doing that because I was doing some rallies against one of their clients. And they approached me and said, "Hey, do you want to come work for our social marketing firm?" And I was like, "What? Your social marketing firm?" Because I'd never heard of social media before as like a term in marketing. And that was kind of my big step into then consumer marketing and led by social. And from there, my career kind of took off to where it is today.
So, Rebecca, we have a lot in common because I went to college. I studied at a degree in government and law.
Mm-hmm.
I
That's
thought
amazing.
maybe I'd become a lawyer, maybe I'd
Yeah.
run for office, maybe I'd support candidates, maybe I would work on campaigns. And I think actually working on campaigns sounded the most exciting to me because I always
Yes.
loved advertising and popular culture. And I just felt like that really tapped into my passions. But after like 1 or 2 years of the studying, I decided that I was too was disillusioned and felt like this internal conflict of seeing like more behind the scenes of what happens there. And like to
Mm-hmm.
do good, you have to kind of do some bad also.
Mm-hmm.
And I was really uncomfortable with that tension. So I just abandoned the idea and
That's
then got a job
exactly what I
in
went through.
advertising.
But I'm so glad I did it because there were actually a lot of really incredible things I learned while working there that I've carried through my entire career, like the importance of storytelling and all of that. And one of the things that my mom told me as I was going to college and deciding what I wanted to study, and I was having so much anxiety about, do I want to do this or do I want to do that? And like, how am I going to decide? And she said, don't worry about it because every single experience you have, you're going to use at the next place and the next place. And so there's no wrong choice. And you're just going to keep building on all those experiences and they will make you stronger. And so that's true. So I went on that detour into politics from what I originally knew at 11 years old was my passion. And I learned some really great lessons that I use today.
Wow, that was such beautiful, reassuring advice to get, early in
Mm-hmm.
your career that like it doesn't matter, just go on the journey. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I actually always thought of it as I have this backpack of experience and I'm just keep filling it up. And I don't need
Mm-hmm.
to know what I'm going to do. Like Dora the Explorer, she has all this stuff in her backpack. I don't need to know what I'm going to do with it or when I'm going to need it. I'm just going to keep filling it up. But
Yes.
how wonderful to have somebody say this to you, so early in your career.
It was honestly, it was the best advice I could have gotten. And I didn't even realize it at that time. And I even to this day will sometimes realize I'm using something that I learned, 15, 16 years ago. And I'm like, gosh, I had no idea that that was going to like be relevant today. And yeah, so, and it kind of just gave me a lot of liberty that I was like, especially starting out, like just follow the opportunities. Like, just accept any opportunity that's given to you. Do your very best. You're going to feel the most fulfilled in your life if you are just using your talents to the greatest degree. So just make that your goal for now, and then you'll eventually get to where you're supposed to be.
I
So,
love that. Well, let's talk
yeah.
about where you were supposed to be because you worked on
Mm-hmm.
so many fascinating projects. So you
Mm-hmm.
worked on the launch of the Google Pixel mobile
Yes.
phone. So that's interesting. And then you worked on the launch of Fenty Beauty, which is next
Mm-hmm.
level. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so, what about your career journey? Like, what do you think is happening where it connects you with these like kind of like really momentous opportunities?
So, hmm, that's a great question. So I think that you know, every single project that's given to me, I give 110% since, my very first internship. And, you know, like another piece of advice I got early on from a mentor was like, if you're given papers to file, you file the heck out of those papers. Because if you file the heck out of those papers, they're going to give you more responsibilities because you proved yourself on that task that you didn't think that was that exciting. And so I kind of did that, and I think that I built a reputation for myself by being someone who always gives it 110%, who you can trust, who you can rely on. And that's probably how I've been able to be given such high profile projects and campaigns and brands, if you will, because I just, with each one, I keep kind of proving what I'm able to do. And, nothing is ever beneath me. Nothing is ever something I'm not interested in. Just got to always give it 110%. So that's always my advice to everyone is like, even when it starts out, if they're sending you to go get coffee, you nail that coffee order, because if you do it, you'll come back and they'll say, "Oh, you're amazing." You're like, "Why? I just got coffee." But the fact that you like really, you did it to plan and all that, believe me, it builds a lot of trust, and that goes a really long way in any industry.
I love that. So let's talk about Fenty, because I'm sure that's the only thing anyone ever wants to talk to you about. Um, I guess working on Fenty is the equivalent, like at tech, to like working at Apple or working at Tesla or
Mm-hmm.
Google or something. It's just something that everybody loves seeing on a resume and automatically says, "Yes, I want to work with you."
Yeah.
Um, I would imagine it's like really powerful to have that on your resume at this point.
Mm-hmm. Yes, absolutely. Because I think it's probably it is the most successful celebrity, beauty brand to date. And we completely changed, what was happening in the beauty industry with that launch, and kind of pushed the entire industry to think and act and behave more inclusively. And so it was a really powerful thing to be a part of. And, when I was at Google, when I was approached for the Fenty position, and when I got called, they were like, "We know no one leaves Google, but you have to think about this opportunity because it's going to change the game." And when I heard about the mission that Rihanna had for her brand and what she wanted to do and the change she wanted to create, it was this moment of like, oh my gosh, my entire life has been preparing me for this experience, because I grew up as an expat in lots of different countries all over the world and was exposed to a lot of different forms of beauty. And in one country, I'd be too skinny. In the next country, I'd be too fat. And just always experiencing what that was like. And then to have this opportunity to be able to make everyone feel beautiful, regardless of their skin tone or culture or size. I was like, oh, my entire life has been preparing me for this, and I know exactly what to do, and I really want to be a part of this. And so it was a dream come true, and felt like honestly fulfilling, like one of my purposes in life.
It's so beautiful and amazing, and I'm just so curious about the hiring process. Like, were they allowed to tell you in the very beginning, like, who was behind it and what the goals were? Because I imagine it was kind of top secret.
Yeah, it was really top secret. So before Google, I worked at Bare Minerals, and my CMO of Bare Minerals had gone to be CMO of Kendo, which is the company Fenty was at. And so we already knew each other, and there was a lot of confidence and confidentiality. And so she was able to tell me a lot about it before I came over. Google, on the other hand, was totally different. My interviews at Google were like, "We're going to do something huge and we need help reaching women. Will you come on board?" And I was like, "Sure." And then on my first day, they were like, "We're launching a phone. It's called Pixel, and, good luck." And I was like, "Okay." And it's happening in 2 months. And so, so it was really nice to know what I was getting into with Fenty Beauty, for sure.
I bet. So, like, do you have a favorite moment from your time during the Fenty launch?
Oh, absolutely. So my favorite moment was so the day that we launched was like absolutely insane. It was like a 24-hour day. We had a huge launch party. It was happening all over the world. And we had planned out, our all of the content we were going to be posting on social media. And we had planned that like once people got their hands on the product, we would start regramming people's looks. But we actually hadn't had any talks about what the looks were going to be that we regrammed and what we were going to prioritize. And so it was 3 a.m, and I was sitting on my hotel bed with one of my colleagues, and we were looking through all of the content that people were starting to post of themselves in their Fenty Beauty makeup. And we stumbled upon this beautiful image of this woman in a hijab, and we said, "Wait, that's the one. We are going to show the inclusivity of this brand by making this the very first person that we regram." Because at that time, honestly, almost none of the beauty brands were ever posting people from that culture, and so but like I couldn't call Rihanna and check with her. I couldn't call up any of the big bosses. Like, it was 3 a.m, and we just held hands and we made the decision to do it. And more than 90 news articles around the world were published about it, and everyone like lost their minds, and people were moved to tears to see that that was the first person that we regrammed. And it was so meaningful, and like, okay. And that was just kind of, it set the tone for what we were going to do from there on out, and how we were going to make women who hadn't felt seen up until that point feel seen and feel beautiful.
I mean, we have to go back to this career idea of being in politics and, supporting candidates that you believe in. I mean, I know beauty is not politics, but like, look at how much of an impact you can have through
Mm-hmm.
makeup.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I mean, I've always believed that marketing, that we need really responsible, good people in marketing roles, because marketing does have a big impact on culture and on society and on the things that we as a society think are valuable, what we think is important. And I've always taken my responsibility in that kind of role really seriously. And I remember when I went to leave politics, I was talking to one of my mentors, and I was like, oh, like I just don't feel like this is where I'm supposed to be, and I have this opportunity over at Edelman, but I don't know. I just want to be impacting positive change in the world. And he was like, "Girl, you're crazy." He's like, "Then this is exactly where you need to go. You're going to impact more change if you were at the big companies, and you're with the one creating stories that are out there in." On TV, on billboards that are impacting what people are thinking about. And he's like, in the marketing world needs more people like you. And I really took that to heart, and I've carried that with me throughout my entire career, and made a lot of my career choices based on that, for sure, including, most importantly, I would say, my most recent choice to come and be CMO of True Botanicals. So
Well, let's talk about,
yeah.
the green and clean world, right? Our theme this quarter on
Yeah.
the show is sustainability, and that shows up in a lot of different ways. Like, it can be, we're all trying, right? Well, not
Mhm.
everyone. The brands that are featured during the segment are trying, right? And trying
Yeah.
looks like a lot of different things, a lot of different ways. And sometimes it's about supply chain or the origin of ingredients or packaging or whatnot.
Mhm.
Um, how different has it been in terms of like what your leadership skills need to be when you're talking about, green and clean versus, performance?
Mm. Oh, that's a great question. So, I mean, I think we talk about performance as well, because, and the reason I came to True Botanicals, so I really wanted to work for a brand that put sustainability and safety at the core of its values. But I've also always known and believed that consumers aren't going to start buying sustainable products until there's zero trade-offs. And so I knew that no one was going to buy, sustainable and safe skincare unless it performed just as well as their other stuff. And when the True Botanicals opportunity came to me, and I looked at the products, I saw how they performed. I saw that they had clinical proof that they performed at the same level or better than a lot of conventional bestsellers. I said, okay, this is where I want to be. And our business has been on fire the last few years, and it's because we lead actually with the performance story, and we talk about what it does for your skin. And then once we get people's attention with that, then we're like, oh, and it's also Made Safe certified to be sustainable and safe for you and the planet. And Made Safe is the most comprehensive, safety certification process available for personal care products. And so I think that that's kind of For me, where I see kind of the sustainable brands that are succeeding and those that are not is that people don't only care about sustainability. They still care about all the performance, the experience, and all of that. I
Well,
hope that
let's
answers your
transition
question.
these ideals to leading your team, right?
Mm-hmm.
Performance and experience. Um, you know, we can't make great work without great people.
Yes.
And I'm sure you've experienced a lot of different leadership styles in yours
Mm-hmm.
across many different jobs. I certainly have, and I use that to influence how I choose to lead today. So, paint a picture for us on your leadership style and like what your mission is with your team.
Yes. So I have an amazing team right now. I like to take people. I have one person with me who this is our fourth company together. Another one, this is our third company together. So I've got a rock star team. People follow me from company to company. Um, for me, I have three young boys, and when I leave my kids every single day to go to work, like I want it to be worthwhile, and it's worthwhile when I'm getting to use my skills to the greatest extent, and I'm working with people that I really enjoy being with. And so that's the kind of work environment I try to work in, and that I create for my employees. I tell everyone, let's focus on your strengths and rather than your weaknesses, and always like leaning and doubling down into what you do best. And if you're not good at if you're really good at I think a lot of people in marketing today act like you have to be a jack of all trades and you have to be good at everything, but I don't personally believe that. And I feel like everyone on my team knows what they're really good at, and they feel like they're bringing their talents to they're using their talents to the greatest extent. And so that's what I always focus on. But I do always tell people when they're interviewing, when they're first talking, one of my employees told me this, is that I am like an Olympic training coach. And if you are looking to work really hard and do your very best and become the very best marketer you could possibly be, then I'm the manager for you, because I'm going to be, as you're running your very fastest, I'm going to be next to you going, run faster. I know you can do this better. I know you can. As opposed to if you're just looking to cruise, that's definitely not my leadership style. And so the people who love that absolutely love that, and that's why they follow me from company to company.
Rebecca, I feel like you and I have like similar paths. For Base Beauty, my day job, I describe it as like a really, really fun pool to swim in, but you have to be a strong swimmer and you have to
Yeah.
like want to be in that environment. So maybe it's like one of
Mm-hmm.
those like wave pools at water parks. Like it's like it's can make you really unsteady. So you have to be a strong swimmer. You have to be able to get like
Mm-hmm.
knocked down and swim out of the wave and like want to laugh through it because otherwise it's just exhausting. So and I like this analogy because if you need a life jacket, we're just not the right place for you, right? Because
Yeah.
then everybody
Mm-hmm.
has to take everyone around you in the pool has to come and buoy you, right? Which means that they can't
Mm-hmm.
focus on their joy and their swimming skills.
Mm-hmm.
So I
Mm-hmm.
love the way you paint it as an athlete because it makes me think of my swim analogy.
I love it. But yeah, it brings me a lot of joy to, I think for me, one of the things that gets me out of bed every morning, and again, motivates me to leave my kids for many hours and come to work is, watching the women on my team, like just really feel fulfilled by using their talents to the greatest degree, and feel smart and feel like they've accomplished something every day, and we're accomplishing really really hard things. And that is honestly one of my greatest joys of what I do now.
Well, I want to segue to this topic of the pursuit of success. And
Mm-hmm.
I have a book coming out next month, which is called Facing the Seduction of Success, where I've taken the wisdom of my 200 plus podcast guests and these like themes that keep coming up, like, year after year on the show. And it's really about this idea that we're in this industry that, if you're in this industry, you love it. You're here for a
Yes.
reason. You're super
Mm-hmm.
passionate about it and you find joy in it, even if not every day, but,
Mm-hmm.
overall. Um, but because it's fun, like reaching that next goal can like kind of take over, right? It becomes
Mm-hmm.
seductive to, meet another goal or reach your ambition. And that seduction is wonderful because it's joyful, but it can also pull you away from other things in your life, right? That make you a dynamic, well-rounded person.
Yes.
So I'm curious, right? Like, so you're a mom of three, you're making this like conscious choice to work in an area that you love, right? Because there's other things that you love as well. Do you find growing in your career seductive, and how have you navigated that tension?
Oh my gosh, I absolutely love that term seductive. I mean, that's like the perfect way to describe it. Um, so, I I try to live my life really colorfully, and I always preach that that makes you a better marketer too. I know that when I show up to work on Monday, I have better ideas and I do a better job when I like unplug during the weekend and I went to a museum or I went to a show or I did something outside. I'm gathering ideas and inspiration from all those different places all the time. And I'm truly recharging. And so that's something that I always encourage my team to do. I'm always encouraging everyone like live colorfully, like have hobbies outside of work. I know it's going to make you a better marketer and a better employee for me. And so, at my office, we work really hard actually not to, email each other on the weekends or late in the evenings unless it's a true emergency, honestly. And we work really hard to compartmentalize our work into like insane, intense work hours during the day so that we can all do other things in the evenings and the weekends. And selfishly, as the boss, I want them to do that so they'll come back with great ideas on Monday. And so, that is definitely how I achieve balance, and it just everything's happier. I've also heard this term called that there's like different levels of quality of leisure time. And, I always encourage everyone, like, don't just Netflix and chill this weekend, even if you're really tired. That's not going to really rejuvenate you and make you feel happy when you come back to work. Get outside, go do new experiences. And so that's kind of the way, again, that I do balance. But in terms of, seduction, yes. I mean, it's kind of like, to use another, like, even though I'm not particularly athletic, another athletic analogy, it's like when you climb a mountain or a crazy hike and it's so intense and the way you feel at the end, you just feel like so happy and accomplished and you have this like rush of endorphins. And that's how I feel after really, really doing really challenging things at work. I've worked on brand and product launches that were both really easy and some that were like insanely hard. And always later, it's the insanely hard ones that I'm like, that was awesome. That was like it felt so good when I accomplished that. And also like the camaraderie that I built with my team after accomplishing that together is just so, so intense. And, sometimes I tell people like, you're growing and that you're going to look on this with so much fondness when you're like, like for my analogy is like when you're crying, when you're sitting on the floor at the airport crying because you're so tired. That's when you're probably about to experience your most exponential growth and, and really feel it.
Rebecca, I wish I've known you longer. I feel like we could have had these amazing conversations for the past 20 something years together, but I'm very, very grateful to know you now. And this wisdom is incredible. I love the analogies. I'm always into those like climbing mountain analogies because literally like I've climbed mountains and I've been really tired. I've been on my hands and knees, but then I finish it and then I'm so proud, right? And none of this would be fun if it was too easy. It really wouldn't.
Exactly. Yep, I agree.
Well, I'm so grateful for your wisdom, Rebecca. So thank you so much for joining us today. And for our listeners, please subscribe to our series on your favorite podcast app. And for updates about the show, follow us on Instagram at Where Brains Meet Beauty Podcast. But Rebecca, you can't go anywhere because now we have a YouTube exclusive snack break.
Fun.
So I am thrilled to be here with you, Rebecca Boston, Chief Marketing Officer of True Botanicals. Our game today is called Celebrity Formulas. Okay, so we did some, digging on you, Rebecca. You've worked with so many fabulous, prominent people, And
Mm-hmm.
since True Botanicals is so ingredient focused, we thought it'd be really fun to match each celebrity to the ingredient that best suits their personality.
Okay, I love
Okay,
it.
so you ready to start the game?
Yes.
Okay, let's give this a go. So you're gonna match Laura Dern. So here she is in a True Botanicals post. Is she sea buckthorn berries? Is she coffee seed oil or rosehip oil, and why?
Oh my goodness. Okay. Laura Dern is rosehip oil. She is one of the most beautiful human beings I've ever met in my entire life. And she makes everyone around her, I feel like she's one of those people that fills your cup when you're with her. And, rosehip oil does so many good things for your skin in terms of hydration and all of that. And so that's where my mind immediately went with the analogy. She's an incredible partner. She cares so much about sustainability and safety for humans, animals, and the planet. And so definitely rosehip oil for Laura
Love it. This is so fun. Okay, let's see who our
Dern.
next celebrity is. Olivia Wilde. Okay, is she ginger oil, sandalwood, or orange blossom?
Oh my goodness. This one's easy too. Sandalwood. Because sandalwood is this like sensual, the like kind of, musky scent that I absolutely love. And she is just to me the epitome of, a feminist modern take on sensuality. She's so confident and she is so smart. And so that, and in addition to being beautiful on the outside, but the inside is so beautiful as well. She just exudes that confidence, and nothing is sexier. So definitely sandalwood.
This is such a fun game. Let's see who our next personality is. Okay, Rihanna. Is she calendula, coffee seed oil, or orange blossom?
Coffee seed oil. She is so strong and so powerful. And I mean, when she walks into a room, everyone wakes up and she's so wonderful. She makes you want to work that much harder. And so that's that one's out. These are surprisingly easy. I had no idea it was going to be this way. Coffee seed oil for Rihanna. Absolutely.
Okay, who's up next? Brooke Shields. Okay, is she calendula, sea buckthorn berries, or rosehip oil?
Mm, calendula. So, Brooke Shields is just this like such an incredible, gentle, kind soul. And the way that she loves on her daughters and her team and us, her brand partners, she's just such, she's so respectful and she's so kind. And calendula is this incredible, nurturing ingredient for our skin. It's really nourishing and soothing. And so I immediately make that connection with Brooke Shields.
This is so fun. Okay, I'm really proud of this game. Let's see who's next. Okay, Marc Jacobs.
Ooh,
Okay, is he
okay.
sandalwood, chibula, or grapeseed oil?
Ooh, this is a good one. So I think grapeseed oil. Because grapes have always been, I just feel like it's a sexy cool fruit and it's never going out of style. And grapes, they only get better with age. They age into a fine wine. And that is definitely Marc Jacobs. He is just such an incredible visionary creative. And so grapeseed oil from Marc Jacobs.
Awesome. Okay, I think there might be one more left. Okay, Logan Browning. Is she
Mm.
orange blossom, ginger oil, or grapeseed oil?
Oh boy. Okay. Ginger oil. Because Logan Browning is one of the smartest, most talented women I've ever met. And she just, what she brings to the table is really, really unique because she's so insightful and she cares about everything she does. She gives it 110%. And ginger oil is kind of an incredible ingredient that is just really transformative for our skin. It's rich in antioxidants and anti-inflammatories. And so it's a really kind of smart ingredient for our skin. And that's what makes me think of her.
This is so fun. Well, I'm really amazed by how well you think on your feet, Rebecca. That was certainly probably not easy, but super fun for me to listen to.
That was fun. I wasn't expecting that.
Okay, so our next last part of our snack break is fan questions. So we asked our fans on Instagram what questions they have about you. So let's go to our first fan question. It is, if you weren't in marketing, what do you think you would be doing today?
If I wasn't in marketing, I would, gosh, I haven't thought about this for a while. I would probably be a hairdresser. My original love for beauty like is still there, and when we spent a lot of time at the beauty salons, it was getting our hair done, and so yeah, I'd probably be a hairdresser and just get to talk to my clients all day long while I do their hair.
And are you really great at doing your own hair?
I mean, today there's nothing impressive going on. I had a really early morning, but I am pretty good at doing my hair. Yes.
There's people I've met through the years where I look at them, I'm like, how did they do that for themselves? And
Oh
I'm like,
yeah.
I want to be that person, yet I don't put in the effort. But I, I guess I'm just more of a skincare girl, not a hair girl, and that's okay. But I do love seeing people around me just do amazing stuff with their own hair. So
Yes.
that's cool. That'd be fun. You'd be really good at it too. I'm sure everybody would want to
Oh, thank
book all
you.
your time.
Thank you.
Okay, next question from fans. What advice would you give yourself if you could do it all over again at the very beginning of your career?
That's a great question. The advice I would give myself is I would say always look around and find the smartest woman in the world and follow her. I mean, the smartest woman in the room and follow her. And then don't sweat it. Like I would kind of reinforce what my mother told me, way back in the day, which is like, go along with the journey, just do your best, and you will keep, you know, kind of honestly stumbling through the doors until where you're supposed to be.
I love that. It makes me think of what I would tell myself, which is just don't worry. I spent so many years
Yeah.
worrying, worrying,
Yeah.
worrying, so much
Yeah.
doubt and worry.
I had so much anxiety about a lot of the career choices that I made. So much anxiety about it, and I wouldn't change anything that I did. I wouldn't change any of it.
Okay, last fan question. This is a good one. This is tough. Do you think that the industry is moving in the right direction when it comes to sustainability?
Mm. Ooh, that's a great question. So there are a lot of emerging brands that are, making a lot of really positive changes, and there's a lot of heritage brands that I see making really positive changes. And I wish those changes were happening a lot faster. And I also wish that there was a lot less greenwashing going on, honestly. There are a lot of brands calling themselves clean and sustainable, which I would argue they are not. And, if you're ever looking to support the brands that are, I would say look for third party certifications like the Made Safe Sale that True Botanicals carries. But aside from all of that, which I wish was different, I do see a lot of people working towards positive change. It makes me really excited when I see the big luxury heritage brands, which are behemoths to move, trying to, make that positive change. And so I am optimistic and hopeful that we're headed in the right direction.
Rebecca, it has been so fun to chat with you, and I just want to thank you for being our 210th guest.
It was my honor. Thank you so much. This was really fun.
And I want to thank the people behind the scenes who make this show happen. So I do not do this alone. Esperanza is behind the scenes. Our producer, she's directing the show. She's putting the game together. And lots of other people behind the scenes too. Nico, our sound engineer, and Molly on social media, and Elisa on design. So thank you to everybody. And I want to give you some housekeeping notes before you tune out for the night. You can catch our next live stream episode on June 2nd. So this is a big one. On June 2nd, I will be with Gina from the Real Housewives of Orange County. So if you know anything about me, you know I love my Bravo reality TV. So Gina is a skincare entrepreneur now. She's going to be with me live in New York City, and we're going to be recording in front of a live audience. So we haven't set the start time of that yet. It'll probably be around 6:30 or 7 p.m. Eastern. So you won't want to miss that. And then our last piece of news, as I mentioned with Rebecca, I wrote a book, and I took the wisdom from my 200 plus guests that, this challenge and this tension between, our pursuit of success and, how we live a life as we try to pursue success. So, how leaders balance their time, their thoughts, and their energy. So the book is called Facing the Seduction of Success. You can pre-order now on Amazon, and it will be launching on June 7th. So there'll be a lot of programming associated with that I hope that you tune in for. So thank you to everybody who tuned in. I hope you enjoyed this episode. I'll see you next time.